introducing our model XT66. It's a 6-wheel tracked amphibious vehicle, all aluminum body, twin propulsion system with an all hydrostatic drive. The hydraulic drive gives it a benefit of no gears, no belts to have to deal with. The superiority of it versus a chain drive system or a belt drive system is you don't have to worry about replacement of those items. You don't have to worry about failure of those items in the field. Hydraulic systems are very strong, very robust. The aluminum body itself is very lightweight. It has a good strength to weight ratio. The undercarriage, the bottom side of the machine, is a 3/16 aluminum, which is very strong, very durable. Can take into a lot of environments. The other thing about them, very easy to maintain. This particular equipment is designed for about 1,600 pounds of capacity. Water operation or land means we can transport people. Also with this piece of equipment, you can take and then pull an additional raft, which is a rolling and floating trailer. It'll be amphibious as well. It can handle about 1,800 pounds of people or equipment in the water. We also feature a rollover protection cage. This one has just a basic model on it. We also have models that have a enclosed top, so you have protection from the sun. The system is designed to be very stable in both land and water environments. The track system allows it a very low ground pressure. The ground pressure on this particular track system is about 1.7, 1.8 pounds per square inch. The wheeled model that is very similar to this has the same features, except it's an all-wheel drive that can take you into less tough environments where ground pressure is not as needed, low ground pressure is not as sensitive. Those opportunities that we have for that, it's about 4.6 pounds per square inch on a wheeled system. All of the machines that we have feature seamless controls. You're able to drive both on land and in the water with the same set of controls. There's no need for a separate set of controllers. It's very simplistic. It's very intuitive for an operator to learn how to drive it. It has zero-turn technology. We're able to basically turn it in its own footprint and rotate the machine 360 degrees. And it's good for tight maneuvering and tight quarters. It's also small, lightweight. This total unit weighs 3,600 pounds. Can be deployed with a small truck and trailer so that you can able to get into areas that you need to get into more rapidly. If you look at ground speed, top ground speed on one of our XA or XT66 models is around 15 miles per hour. Depending on water current conditions, around 5 miles per hour in water on a stagnant type of water. Also has a small rear cargo storage area. Can be utilized to carry essential needs like bags or water or supplies into someone should you need to be able to carry those type of items in small quantities to an individual. Hydraulic propulsion system is a little twin screw propeller system. The propellers counter rotate so that you can actually zero turn in water. It gives you a lot more maneuverability in water situations. Also features a towing hitch, which you can attach trailers or other implements that need to be moved. We'll go through the initial startup. Start. Both buttons must be depressed into the start position. The key is rotated to the left, waiting for the indicator light to go out. Indicates that the engine is warmed and ready to go. Start. When you initially start the machine, both hands into the control position. Actuate the wheels to move the machine forward and reverse. To start the wheels, depress to move forward. Push the control levers forward to go backwards. Reverse to turn. To make a left-hand turn. Push forward with this one and backwards with this one. Right-hand turn. Do the opposite. To go full reverse all the way. To increase throttle. Increases the RPMs of the engine. To stop the machine. To stop movement, go to the center position, neutral. To press the wheel button. Then turn the key off. That's the operating position. Talk about the gauges. The red button here, or the red gauge, if it's illuminated and the buzzer is buzzing, it is a low oil pressure indicator. It means there's no oil pressure present on the engine, so you would shut the engine down. You can also see that here in a manual gauge where we're reading 0 pressure. That's because the engine's not running now. When we start the engine, we'll see the indicator come up. Indicates that we have oil pressure. There's no red light. There's no buzzing that's going on. This is the indicator that reads the radiator temperature or the engine coolant temperature. We want to keep it below the 210 degree mark. Indicates that you've got an engine overheating once it gets above the 210 degree mark. Battery charging system should be between 12 and 14 volts. And then the fuel indicator. Fuel indicator, once it gets below a quarter of a tank, you should be looking to refuel the machine. You can get into a situation where you're at extreme heights and angles, and it could run low on fuel. The control dash buttons. This is the accessory. The accessory turns on the red flashing light. Turns on the headlights for night driving. Dash lights, which is the light here. Bilge pump, which is the discharge pump. The indicators here are for circuit breaker protection, if it should blow a light, or the bilge pump, or the fan for the cooling system. The hydraulic auxiliary reservoir panel, and this is the start button. Should the starter not want to engage, it could be a kick circuit breaker. Same thing goes for fuel pump, alternator, the neutral system, as well as the actuators that move it, and then the 12-volt system itself has a reset button. The battery is located beneath the seat. It also has its own circuit breaker system that disconnects the main power. There's no power present now to the key switch. You can't do anything. To close it, simply close the circuit and you're back to where you can start the machine. The battery is strapped in. Then we take and cover it with a rubber pad. It's equipped with a 9,500 pound winch. Winch control is located inside the dry storage box. The winch control is placed in. It's oriented via a notch in the bottom. It aligns with the notch in the controller. And you push it in. The winch controller itself will run the winch out. You can attach it to something to move the machine out of a stuck position or into pulling something heavy, a load or person. And you return it in like that. Disconnect, recover. It's important to recover to keep trash out of it. And then take your controller, place it back into the dry box, dry storage box. It's a spotlight for night use through the remote control. And you're able to direct it up and down and from side to side. Allows the person that's operating to be able to search for someone or search for a location. The unit runs on diesel fuel. Diesel fuel is filled here. Cap's removed, the nozzle or the can's inserted, and it's filled. It's about a 10.5 gallon capacity. Important things to check before we operate: tire pressure. Tire pressure's checked with the tire gauge. Should read between 32 and 36 pounds of pressure. All tires need to be inspected before driving. Other important checks to make before driving or operating: hydraulic reservoir for hydraulic oil has an indicator here that shows the fill level. It should always be looking on it should always be at the full level when the machine is shut off. In operation and startup, the level will actually drop down a little bit, but at full, at off is where you check the full, making sure that there's sufficient oil in the engine. Coolant level to make sure it is full. Other components that we need to pay attention to: fuel filter, that'll be a maintenance item that needs to be replaced. Hydraulic filter is another maintenance item that needs to be replaced. And on the opposite side, the engine oil filter. Those are the main replacement or components that need to be taken care of from a maintenance perspective. Other maintenance points or maintenance items: grease fitting on the center axles needs to be greased. Prop system has a greased Alumite point on it that needs to be greased. And that goes for both sides of the machine, each prop, each bogie axle. Check the filter, clean out the filter element. Filter element removes for inspection and service. And that's the air filter element. Should you have to add hydraulic oil to the machine, hydraulic tank located in the rear is unscrewed. There's a strainer here. Should be clean oil that goes in it. The brand of oil that is used is a Mobil product, synthetic Mobil product. It's an SHC 525 is the oil type. The engine components or the hydraulic system components that we want to talk about are the hydraulic drive, which are the twin hydraulic pumps. One generates pressure for the right side, one generates pressure for the left side. The pressure is transmitted to a manifold block, which is one for the hydraulic drive system for the ground drive, One is for the prop system, left and right. The manifold, when it's rotated, can run either wheels, props, or both. The way the manifold is actuated is through the switches on the dash from the operator perspective. The hydraulic system is also equipped with a thermostatically controlled cooling fan. The thermostat turns the cooling fan on when the temperature of the hydraulic oil reaches 100 degrees. It's utilized to cool the system to maintain good pressure. The cooling system will actually be blowing, so you'll feel air exhausting from that. Access to the radiator is through the rear operator's seat. Should the radiator have to be cleaned, you can access it via this, taking it off, washing the radiator if needed. But the main service for the fluids and everything continues to be from the outside. The alternator, the electrical alternator, is located here. Should you need to tension the belt for the alternator and or the water pump, the belt drives both the alternator and the water pump, and the tensioning is achieved here. Loosen the nut, insert a pry bar, push away from you, which would tighten the alternator, and then tighten the screw. The valve, the hydraulic valve here that controls direction and propeller system, is actuated via solenoid block. The pressure block shifts the two cylinders. The solenoids are electronically actuated when you touch the switches. Should you ever have any maintenance troubles or anything for a machine not shifting or not moving, it would be the solenoid block opportunity to check first. The engine is a Kubota turbo diesel. It's a 44 horsepower. In the event of a tire failure and the track needs to be removed for tire replacement, there are link pins that are located on the track. Select one of the link pins, remove the nut on the back side of the link pin, and remove the link pin. In order to do that, the tires have to be deflated first. So remove the valve stem from the tires, allow it to deflate, remove the link pin, separate the track, lift the machine, replace the tire, and to reinstall the track, you will basically take the two track halves and put them back together, and then use a ratcheting device to pull the two together, continuing to leave the tires deflated. Once you've got the pin, start it back in, and the nut reattached on the back side, the tires are reinflated to the proper pressure to set the tension on the track. In the event that you're climbing an obstacle and the tracks try to slip or feel like they're slipping, first check is to check tire pressure. Tire pressure maintains track tension. The machine is also equipped with a spine board or a stretcher. To take the stretcher out, remove the pins, remove the retaining plate, reinstall both pins and retaining plate. Take the spine board down, placing the person on the spine board. The spine board is then lifted by two people or more and placed onto the carrier. Once it's on the carrier, ratcheting straps are attached here to attach it, and here to attach it. It's designed with the person's feet up here, where their feet are a little bit elevated above their heart, and their head's back here so that the attendant can be with them and take care of them if being transported for emergency reasons. align it to the locking mechanism. Reinstall. Close the hood on the machine. Lower. Rotate the locking mechanism here. Inserting it in. Doing the same with the other side. The machine's secure for transport.